Welcome to Monday, the 25th day of April 2022, this Day Weather Podcast, brought to you exclusively by Cowboy State Daily, Wyoming's news authority. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com and on their Facebook page. Well, we're going to talk about a cool start to the week, but before we do that, we're going to talk about the storm that rolled through the region. Going to have a little bit of a recap here, but for today, the sun will be out, but it's still going to be a little bit cooler than average as the backside of the storm still affecting us with some cool air. Sunny and cool weather for today, and then more spring-like temperatures coming Tuesday through Thursday. This week, I think, will be a little bit more tame in the sense that it's going to get a little bit warmer, but we're not going to be quite as warm as we had late last week, very warm, but a little bit more of a typical late April pattern, a little more settled, a little less wind, at least a little less wind through Thursday. Unsettled weather with some rain, some snow, and some thunderstorms coming at the end of the week and into the weekend for some of you. The long-term pattern, we're really definitely seeing some trends set up this spring, which is more stormy and more wet for the northern areas and less wet for the southern areas of the western United States. So it's really the haves and have-nots. There has been some great spring moisture and there's been some no spring moisture depending on where you're at, and it's caused a lot of problems, obviously. Going to show you through some pictures here. Here's a shot Saturday afternoon in Hewlett, Wyoming. Shot of downtown there, showing some nice wet spring snow falling and piling up pretty good there. As we take a look at the northern Bighorns, nice shot here, nice snow, really good snow, fell in the mountains of the region. A lot of the mountain areas, an inch and a half of water to help boost that snowpack a little bit. Here's another shot from the Bighorn Mountains there. Fun snowmobiling here in late April. But when you take a look at these pictures, this one I think takes the first prize. We talked about the potential for a blizzard situation, especially in those northeast counties of Wyoming. Now, some of you in northern Wyoming and southern Montana were just warm enough to be rain and snow or just a wet snow. Places like Buffalo and Sheridan and Billings. But if you got a little bit closer to the center of the storm, where it was a little bit colder, it was all snow. A lot of areas with the storm, 60, 70 mile per hour winds. We had 83 mile per hour wind gusts in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. So the winds were just horrendous. So many parts of northeastern Wyoming, Campbell, Crook County, parts of Weston County, then the southeast counties of Montana and southwest North Dakota. A lot of you probably have similar pictures like this. And for those of you watching, if you've got photos, send them to podcast@dayweather.com. But just incredible pictures there. 10 miles northwest of Gillette. Here's another shot there. Those drifts are going to be around for a while. Now, this photo looks really nasty, and it does, but there's a lot of water in that snow that's going to pay dividends down the road. Taking a look at snowpack, this is what snowpack numbers look like just ahead of the storm on Friday. But as you look at what the snowpack conditions changed, this doesn't include what fell last night. More fell late yesterday and last night. So you can see we have a lot more green on the map. Look at the tongue and Powder River, Bighorn Basin snowpacks, Wind Rivers, all approaching or getting above 100. Nice moisture in the upper Platte of Colorado and Wyoming as well. We need more, and I think more is coming. So kind of a nice late season surge. Now let's kind of recap the storm. This is what has fallen through Sunday morning. So this does not include moisture that fell up here, especially during the day Sunday. There was also some moisture that fell down here during the day. So that isn't in there. But you can see that from the Sierra Nevada and then into the northern plain states, this is the accumulation of moisture from Friday through Sunday morning. And you can see this is about where the models showed it. The models did a good job. There were some lucky areas here that needed the rain, but also wildfires broke out in Kansas and parts of Nebraska Friday afternoon and evening, Friday night and Saturday in those very strong winds on the back side of it. Then you can see the dry hole here continues for southeastern Wyoming and the Front Range of Colorado. So the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. If we were to zoom in a little bit, kind of give you more detail, this map is a combination of what the radar sees and what folks measure on the ground. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a really good idea of where the heavier precipitation fell, both measured by radar and also from rain gauges. Couple of things to point out. You can see the heavy moisture as expected up here. You can also see the good moisture that fell along the Owl Creek Mountains in Wyoming, the Wind River Mountains, the Sierra Madres, the Snowy Range, the North Park Mountains of Colorado into that North Platte drainage. Then that heavier moisture did get down into the Pine Ridge, Casper to Douglas to Lusk, over to Shadron and Alliance, some really good moisture there. You notice this, why is there a snow hole there near Johnson County in Buffalo? That's because the winds went downhill here. A downsloping situation off the major mountain ranges causes these snow holes. You always get these around the part of the Bighorn Basin, naturally surrounded by mountains, but the Bighorns, so this area here kind of sticking out as an area that did not get the heavier moisture. And then you can see, just very disappointing not to get any moisture there. If you were to look at the last 30 days, the heavier moisture definitely favoring the areas to the north. The green and the blue represent above average precipitation in those areas. Also, you can see parts of California, the Pacific Northwest for the last 30 days. Parts of Idaho have had above average precipitation. But what really sticks out right here, and a lot of you watching this are in these areas here, the drought conditions, it ends up being a downsloping wind event with high winds while these storms track more to the north. This is the trend all spring, and I think for the rest of April, this is probably how it's going to go. I do foresee maybe some better opportunities in May in this area here. We'll talk about that in future podcasts. So if we step forward, now take a look at the forecast. We have a little ridge of high pressure moving in. This is what's left of the storm. So this high pressure is going to bring in some warmer air. So it'll be cool today, warmer Tuesday and Wednesday. This system right here and this system up here will be throwing fronts across the northern tier of the United States mid to late in the week. One such front, it doesn't look like much, but there's a little wave right here that's going to come in Wednesday afternoon and evening. So while there's very little or no precipitation around today or tomorrow, Wednesday will bring some scattered showers and thunderstorms to the Pacific Northwest, Montana, northern Wyoming, and the Dakotas again. Then a stronger system comes in on Friday. So as we get on into Friday, and I think this is going to start as early as Thursday. I think as early as Thursday, showers and thunderstorms will be developing across the northern plains and northern Rockies. By Saturday, notice we have a small but tight and compact little storm spinning up here over north central Kansas. Not really sure yet on the exact shape and track of this storm, but it does not look like a monster storm like we just went through. But we could have a lot more weather here than maybe you see in forecasts at the moment. We'll talk more about this later in the week, but there will be showers and thunderstorms to some extent late Thursday, Thursday night, Friday, into Saturday in this region, with another little low coming in quickly behind it. An active pattern. This is what you'd expect this time of year. This is the forecasted precipitation through Sunday afternoon. This shows the good moisture. Again, look at the northern areas. They're going to be more. This is not showing what just fell. This is what is forecasted maybe to happen. So from Washington and Oregon, straight across, there's more precipitation coming. Now this area here, we got to put a question mark on it. It looks really good, doesn't it, for Nebraska, parts of eastern Colorado, Kansas, and eastern Wyoming. But we'll just have to wait and see on this. But there is a tendency that there could be some active showers and thunderstorms, a little bit of wet snow in this area here later in the week. Longer term, I always got to throw in Mother's Day weekend because it always seems like Mother's Day weekend brings a storm. Well, the European model shows something here along the West Coast by Mother's Day weekend heading into the Rockies and High Plains. Again, this is a 2-week forecast, so take it with a grain of salt. But what this means is we see activity. We see more opportunities for wet weather in some parts of the western United States. What we got to do is see if there's any way we can get Mother Nature to direct these storms more south to help out the extremely dry areas of Colorado, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, Texas, those areas there. Have yourself a good Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.